Good evening. I'm Kemi Omololu. It's Wednesday, 17th of April, 2019. It's been a long time since I did a live video on YouTube. I retired and I told you, but many of you didn't believe me. Well, because I retired doesn't mean I can't come back on YouTube. Every now and then I'll do a video. But I've just been tired. As you can see, I've been uploading certain old videos and all kinds of information stuff. I'm more of a social media personality now. And what I do basically is just educate Nigerians about everything you need to know. In the past, I've been doing that for years. And many of you have ignored me. You don't take me seriously. And now you're right here in a mess. Some of you waited for APC. Now you're in your next level. Look at all the killing going on in Zamfara State. I spoke about that in 2014. The Zamfara has a lot and lots of precious metals. Gold is in mined in Zamfara, taken to Dubai. And then when it gets to Dubai, it's refined more. And then you get pure gold. Pure gold that goes to Lebanon. A lot of Lebanese miners, a lot of foreigners. And now the Indians are mad because they know there's something under the ground and they're stealing it from them. So the indigents now come in and try to kill everybody. The miners, the traditional rulers, the people in the village who they think might be benefited. Everybody's killing everybody in Zamfara. I said this in 2014, but of course you ignored me. Very sad. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the immigration chat that happened this afternoon. I'm going to be talking about the U.S. Embassy visa chat that happened this afternoon. There's a huge disclaimer here. Please don't privately message me. It's happening on Twitter now because I did this on Twitter earlier today. I did the live chat and I did the live watch party when the embassy did this thing at 2:00 on Facebook. And I did a Yoruba and an English version for Twitter. Already, people are sending me messages on Twitter for questions. I'm not an immigration expert. I don't work for the embassy. I'm not affiliated with the embassy. I don't know anybody in the embassy. When I go to the embassy, the last time I was in the embassy, aside from 2 weeks ago I was in the embassy and everybody knew me in there. Going in there, the Nigerian staff, the American staff, everybody was so glad to see me there because I'm a famous personality. But the real last time I went in there was in 1983. So it was 36 years. Okay, and the people in 1983 were not the people there now, but it was like, oh my God, it's Kemi Olunloyo, you know. I went to ACS, so I didn't go to the regular part. ACS is American Citizen Services. My son had to renew a passport, so I was in ACS. Now, so now that I've given you all the disclaimers, we're going to talk about what happened in the chat this afternoon. Have you ever applied for a U.S. visa? If you have, let me hear from you. Let me know what happened. Did you get it? Were you rejected? This chat this afternoon was about rejections. People who get rejected for U.S. visas, and they get disgruntled, and then they go around saying that they were scammed. Okay? The embassy reportedly makes 57 million naira a year on visas. Some denied, some issued. And some people think that 57 million naira is just making money and scamming Nigerians. They took the stuff all the way to the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives looked at this issue to see why America was making so much money and people were not getting visas for travel, for school, for whatnot. The Punch newspapers got into the investigative journalism part, and the embassy responded and said, okay, we are going to give you a chat and explain what's going on. And I thought the chat was real fantastic. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's at HNN Africa. I also have a Kemi Olunloyo, but that's my archives. At HNN Africa, go to my Twitter, all right? And when you get to my Twitter, you'll see the Yoruba and the English version of the same kind of summary. I did it live over there too. But this one's for my YouTube fans, so I can go as long as I want. I'm not going to be very long, but I'm going to give you the concrete details you need to know. I invited everybody from everywhere to come back here if they want to see more. However, the chat today was done by two white ladies American ladies. I call them embassy ladies. I don't know their name, and they probably didn't give it. Employees of the embassy really have to be careful with giving names. Why? Because of security reasons, which you should understand. Diplomatic missions, you have to be extremely careful giving your names over the phone or even in person. And so these ladies explained quite a lot of things. It was done live on facebook.com/US Embassy Nigeria. You need to go there at your spare time. Facebook.com US Embassy Nigeria. And that page will show you the video. And then you'll see people's comments as they were left live. And you can read them. Okay? I was basically making notes because I had a watch party on my side. You can also go to my side and watch the video on my page, and see what my own audience were asking. The video on my page will be facebook.com/Kemi Olunlayo and the answers I get. Okay? Now, so before you start asking questions here, remember, I'm not an embassy official. Okay? You still have to. All right? So listen to what I have to say, and then I'll take questions, a few questions after. But I can't take every question because I'm not going to be, giving you advice when I'm not an official of the mission. Like I said, I don't know anybody there. I got too many questions. After I did my thing, I got too many questions on Twitter, and I clearly said that I'm not going to be answering questions because I'm not an embassy official. All I'm doing right now is I put a summary together of what they said. The embassy ladies are very American. Their accent was very American, and some of you may not really hear what they were saying. Okay, I know I speak with an East Coast U.S. accent as well, but I try to put a little bit of clarity. Is it clarity on my accent? That way you can hear what I'm saying in English. So let's go. The first thing they talked about today, okay, I didn't get a visa. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody didn't get a visa. So they scammed me. So they did this, so they did that. The bottom line is, why have you been denied a visa 5 times? Let's start with that, because there was one guy that said he has been denied 5 times of a visa. If you're denied 5 times of anything, do you ever think, why were you denied for that thing 5 times? Could it be because you made a mistake 5 times? You have to check yourself first. Did you make a mistake in the form? What did you put? Did you lie? Did you provide documents? Did you provide false documents? Did you provide this, that? So there are a lot of issues that you have to look at when you're looking at being denied a visa 5 times. So the American embassy says that if you're going to apply for their visa, okay, there are a lot of different things you need to know. The very common DS-160 form is the form that they feel that many people have filled wrong. Their job is not to correct you or fill in the form when you get in front of them for the interview. You have filled that form and you've sent it online. And you've literally put your hands off and taken an oath that everything you wrote is true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So you've said, yeah, even if you use a visa agent, you have to sit beside that visa agent and let that visa agent know that, hey, everything that you wrote on this form is true. Okay, so don't let any agent do anything for you alone and you don't know what's going on. Okay, so let's start. So you've been rejected a visa. Why? You want to know why. The first thing they talked about is the time to reapply. There is no set limit to reapply for a visa after being rejected. If you've been rejected of anything, you can either appeal it or reapply. A lot of Nigerians don't appeal things. I don't know why. If you appeal things, your appeal can be granted and you'll get your visa. But they reapply. Is there a set limit? Can you reapply in 30 days? Some things will say apply in 30 days. Some will say apply in 2 months. The U.S. Embassy has no limit to when you can reapply. If you want to reapply the next day, you can do that. But make sure you have all your stuff together. Now, those of you who want to go give birth in America, anchor babies and whatever you call them, I don't know. I gave birth to three children. My three children were born there because I lived there. And so it's not like I went to travel and have them there. But there are companies who say if you want to have a baby in America, they have packages for you. You pay, you go have a baby, all your hospital bill is paid, blah, blah, blah. Lucrative business. But the embassy lady said, those of you that want to have your baby in America, because of whatever reason, you want your baby to be an American, you don't like the health care here, you don't want to risk hospitals here, whatever the reason is. The embassy lady said, you must show them proof that you're able to pay the medical bills, complete medical bills. It's very expensive. And they said that. It is very expensive. And I always say to people that my first child is going to be 34 years old. And when I had him, it was $10,000 to have a baby in those days. I had a job in a pharmacy and I had health insurance. The insurance will pay 80%. I paid 20%. Without health insurance, without a job in America, you're coming from Nigeria, you have to have at least your money ready. Having a baby today is not $10,000. It could be up to $30,000. And 30,000 is 10 million naira. So if you have that money, 10 million naira, you really want to go have a baby in America, you got to show them that you have that money in your account. And they were not just talking about babies. They're talking about medical anything, surgery, everything. You must have the money to pay the medical bills before you can travel. They don't want you to go and incur bills into the U.S. system over there. So that's the one. If you use visa agents, you must review the application with them. Side by side, sit with them, because once you submit that visa application online, you have submitted it under oath. And that all the information in that form is true. It is your responsibility to make sure you have the right information on that form. So guys, what you need to do, okay, if you're using a visa agent, I know those guys are costly. You need to basically give them the information they're going to fill in there, discuss it with them, and make sure it's all correct. Now, I'm going to answer questions after, but please, to the extent that I'm only a journalist, I'm not going to be able to answer deep embassy questions. You're going to have to go watch that video on my page or on their page. Facebook.com/US Embassy Nigeria, Facebook.com/Kemi Olunloyo. Now, you can apply for a U.S. visa from another country, provided, I'll tell you the provisions of that, because that was a very, very, interesting question today. Let me take some questions while we're doing this as I go along. I can't log into my phone. Okay. Okay. Jabba V54, Maureen 123 said something was, there was. November did give me visa. They asked if I'm married. I said no. Have you traveled before? I said no. That's not a question. Michael Babalola said, you need a letter from a doctor. Oh, are you talking about medical? Of course, you're going to need tons of letters from doctors. If you're going to America for medical reasons, whether you're going to have a baby surgery or any kind of medical thing, you're going to need a letter from a doctor. Okay, you're going to need a letter from a hospital you're going. That's the standard with any country. Okay, they don't want you to go get stuck there into their hospital or medical bill system. So you're going to need that. The next thing I was going to talk about is that you can apply for a U.S. visa from the country you are staying at. Okay, this was a very common question today. Nigerians say they go to another country to apply for a U.S. visa. They turn them down and tell them to go back home. Yes, in some cases. Okay, like some guy now is in Azerbaijan. He said he's there in Baku and they did not give him a visa because they said he should go to Nigeria. Are you legal in the country you're staying in? If you're not legal in that country, forget applying for a visa over there. You can't be going around the world visa shopping. All right? Now, a good example the visa ladies, the embassy ladies gave was UK. UK is a common place. It's a place where many Nigerians live and many Nigerians go to school. So many Nigerians may want to go on vacation to the United States. They live in UK, they work there or the school there. They don't need to go to Nigeria to apply for a US visa. They can apply for a US visa from the United States consulate in London. And that's what they meant by that. Every situation is different. I mean, I'm a journalist. If I need a visa, okay, I've had a national interest waiver visa for a long time. That's the one they call an alien of exceptional ability green card. Okay, the green card the president gives you. The president of the country gives you that because of something you have done that's of national interest. I have one of those. I forged drug abuse in the 90s, and I got mine from President Clinton. So it's kind of like an honorary green card. Okay, if you like, you can renew it. If you like, you can change it to a U.S. citizenship after 5 years. I didn't apply for citizenship. I'm not a citizen. And I'm probably never going to be a citizen. I like being a Nigerian citizen. There's a reason for that. However, guys, I love America. I have American children. My siblings are there. They're all naturalized and all that. So the bottom line is, the bottom line basically is, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to check on something here. When you're applying for a visa in another country to the US, you have to go through the same standards. And those standards mean, you can't just want a visa from another country. You have to know, you have to have all the paperwork and everything on deck. Okay, just I'm going to this country, shopping visas in different countries. No, it's going to be the same, that kind of stuff. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the visa fees. A lot of people saying the visa fees, $160 is a lot, and people don't get their visas, blah, 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 blah. Before you start changing your $160 to Naira or bring your fresh dollars, think about what you're doing. You're applying for a visa. You want to go to another country. Well, let's see. You want to go to the United States. Are you coming back? Are you coming back? That's the first thing that the embassy officials look at. Immigration is different from visitation. Okay? If you want to move to America because you got a job there and the employer is willing to sponsor you, or you got married to an American, or any of those, United States citizen and immigration deals with that, not the embassy. Even my green card, I can't renew it at embassy. All those things are done from the USCIS website. So you need to know how that works. Okay? A lot of Nigerians don't know how to answer interview questions, and a lot of Nigerians don't know how to fill forms. This is the biggest part of what I've always called people illiterates, and then they abuse me and say, oh, I'm abusing them. When you can't fill a form at the NYSC, that shocked me. Come and see how kids were filling forms when they started the NYSC, and they just graduated university. When you can't fill forms, one grown man are bringing me forms at the FRSC, driver's license, they can't fill a form. How are you going to be able to fill an embassy form to travel? That's why you have to be very, very careful. You're going to end up paying double that amount to visa agents to help you. When you're going to get your embassy visa, when you're going to get your visa at the embassy, there's one thing that's just standard. It is so standard that we're notorious for this stuff in Nigeria. It's called authentic documents. Nigerians, please don't take fake statements or documents to the U.S. Embassy or any embassy, as a matter of fact. It will disqualify your application automatically. Nobody wants to see fake stuff. Don't go clip the letterhead of another person's bank on a letter that says you have this balance when you don't. They phone those banks. They call everybody on these letters. It is always done. It's called verification. They verify things. So at the same time, while you're putting the documents together, make sure they're all authentic and real. Now let me talk about visa cancellation without prejudice. I heard about that one a lot today. What's a visa cancellation without prejudice? Two ways you can look at that. You have a visa and it's already expired. So that's different than cancellation without prejudice. Or you have a visa and it's sitting in a useless passport. A lot of Nigerians do that. Let me tell you one example. I know cousins and relatives who do that. Today's the 17th of April, 2019. Your visa expires on the 20th, in 3 days. Excuse me, your passport expires in 3 days, the 20th. Inside your passport, you have a US visa. You have an Italian visa. And the third sticker is a British visa. All right, so you have Italian, British, and US visa. You're a journalist, like me. You're a Nigerian journalist. You travel a lot for work, assignments, journalist travel. So you have 3 visas inside a passport that's going to expire in 3 days. Don't wait till your passport expires, because once it expires, the visas are no good. The visas are inside that passport, so they're canceled without prejudice. You lose those visas. So do the right thing when it comes to that. The embassy wants you to tell them what you do for a living. What do you do for a living? Nigerians are going to talk and come out. English. What do you do for a living? The embassy official said, what do you make money from? How do you make money? Do you have a job? That's what they're saying. If you don't have a job, say it. I know so many people that went to what's his name's wedding last year. Oh, no, was it last year or this? Yeah, last December. A lot of our friends, journalists, colleagues. Me, I didn't have enough airfare, but let me say this. I had journalists who went to that wedding and that they were even showing us on Instagram Live. A very good colleague of us got married. A lot of Nigerian journalists went to America last Christmas. Some of them have never even been there before. Everybody got a visa because they were going to a wedding of a colleague. And let me tell you something. The proof is not just, oh yeah, how much you have in your accounts, how much you make. They showed proof that they're coming back home. Their jobs, their journalists. Some journalists don't make a lot of money, but the proof that they're coming back to their jobs. And they all got visas, they enjoyed the wedding, and they came back. You can go to America to visit. You can go to America to vacation. Okay? Visas that are given at the mission is not to go and live there. Okay? That's immigration. That's immigrant visa. They don't give that over there. They only give visitors and school visas. The school visa is called an F1. I got one of those. When I got my F1 visa, it was when I got to America because I was in a rush. My father was running for governor in 1983. I had to be in school on a Monday. And Friday, I was still in Nigeria. It rushed me to the embassy. I got a B2 visa. When I got to the other end, they took me to immigration and they changed it to F1. My school did that. So, when you're asked by the embassy what you do for a living, tell them. Some of you don't want to pay the fee, the service fee, when you're applying for an F1 visa. A student visa will not be issued to you if you don't pay the service fee. Guys, wake up. All right? You want to eat French fries and shawarma. If you don't pay, they're not going to serve you the food. If you don't pay, that girl is not going to take those fries and fry it hot for you and roll that shawarma and all that until you pay. So please, some of you are really giving the embassy officials a long job and a hard time. You must pay the service fee if you want to get a student's visa. That's what they said. So, have you traveled before? Where have you traveled to? India, Malaysia, London, Canada, Jamaica, Ghana, Kenya. All right, so you've traveled outside Nigeria. Outside Nigeria, everything's abroad. That does not qualify you for a U.S. visa. Okay, the embassy lady said that clearly. If you have traveled to other countries does not automatically qualify you for a US visa. Even if those countries are allies of the US, every situation is different. Okay, who knows what you've done in that other country? Does that mean that you're going to get a US visa because you've been to that country? No. So most of the questions today were basically on B1 and B2 visitors visas. The American Embassy officials said they do not have something called quotas. Do you guys know what a quota is? A quota is, well, I should say in Nigeria, quota. A quota is a number of things you have to do, or a specific number, meaning that the American Embassy may give 20 visas on Monday, they'll give 100 on Friday. Lie. Not true. They don't have any visas. They just give visas according to who gets and when and what. Today might be 40, tomorrow might be 50. Wednesday might be 10. So there's no daily quota. So a lot of people ask me questions here today. And I just wanted you guys to know that I'm not an immigration official or anything. So now you can ask me anything you want to ask me about today's chat. I can help you a little bit. Michael Babalola said that many Nigerians don't know how to fill forms. Pretty people say, oh, I learned I must have to renew my passport then as soon as possible. Yeah, are you one of those? So, folks, that's it. Anybody have any other questions on it? I'm on my desk tonight doing a lot of work here. And if you have any questions, go to the U.S. Embassy Nigeria Facebook page, facebook.com/US Embassy Nigeria. You can also watch the video on my page, facebook.com/Kemi Olunlaya. How are you? How's everything? How's everyone doing? I'll see you again.